Alright, Brad here, and we're flying from Casper, KCPR, to Salt Lake City, and we are in the x737 from EADT. And you can see the clouds produced by SkyMax Pro. And I thought I would, instead of bore you with the actual cold and dark, and climb and cruise, all that's pretty standard stuff, because where I usually have the issues is on approach, especially with an ILS approach. So I thought I would start our video just before we get to our top of descent, which is right here. Then we're going to be making a hard left and head south to runway 16 right. So what we have to do is we have to get over the mountains before we begin serious descent. So that's why this dogleg in our flight path. So I have our altitude set for 7,500 feet. Here's our approach chart, and we'll be intercepting, hopefully, our ILS signal here. So I'll be looking for the localizer and then guide slope. So we'll be flying along in this direction and then head south. So that's the plan. And I better get back to my airplane because the x737 is beginning our descent. Now, if you recall, in the JAR A320, I don't know about the 330, but you have to initiate that with your altitude setting knob. But here you just make sure that your altitude is set below your cruise, and then you begin your descent. Back off a little bit. Let's shorten our range. And this has one kind of interesting little display here on the navigational display. It shows our descent profile here, and I assume this is where we're headed. So it shows our next waypoint here. But other than looking kind of cool, it doesn't serve a huge purpose. So we'll go back to this display. So our engines are almost at idle, if not at idle. By the way, in X airports, this has been our route. So we took off from, I don't know if it's going to show up here. So here's Casper. So we came down this direction, made a couple little dog legs, but then a rather significant one here. So we've been in the air 42 minutes. All right, we should probably get the seat belts on. Somebody's been calling me. This is, yeah. lights are working here. So altitude is set for 4,300 feet. The airport elevation is 42 and change. And if you look at our FMC, I have gone ahead and just jump over a page. You can see I have set the approach speeds here to override the 240 or 250 that was there. And we'll see how well it does without me intervening with the speed setting. And at Zurich, see what we're supposed to be at. Well, it's already passed. But at LHO, which is a VOR, Lima Hotel Oscar, we are to be at flight level 204. So I'm not, I think that's probably in this area. I don't actually see it. Because next is Carter. Interesting. So I assume this would be LHO or close to it. Those of you who have followed my flights before know I like flying early morning, late evening, only because it's kind of pretty. And airports are nicely lit up. So at Carter, let's check what our altitude should be. 16.4. And we can check the baro there. It is, well, I can't show you, but it's 2970. So we'll set that on our baro momentarily. I'm going to have to press this. I'll just go ahead and do it now. So we are set with our baro. Hopefully this will turn green here. Maybe I need to snap it now. There we go. Oh, that's standard. Well, somebody can explain that to me. Not sure what that's for. But Carter was to be 16.4. Sometimes our error messages are over here. I don't see anything. Should have waited before I cleared it. We'll go ahead and set our auto brakes to 2. we'll just check our localizer, 111.9. I'm going to arm spoilers. Well, maybe I should wait and see if we're going to need them. Clouds tucked into the mountains there. Frame rate is down to 20. Barely acceptable. Off-schedule descent, so that's what our error was. So Weber, we are to be at 12,000. So I think we're okay. Nothing to be concerned about. So you can see Beehive here at the very top of my ND, and that is hopefully where we will be intercepting our localizer. So I will start watching over here for the hollow diamond to come across, both for the localizer and then one for guide slope. But we are quite a ways out yet. Don't panic, that's not our runway. So we want to be at 7,500 here, and we're coming up on 10,000, so we can flip on our landing lights. Thank you, Steve, for that little tip. This bar flips them all down. I don't think it flips them back up, but not real wild about my frame rate here, but maybe when I get below these clouds, things will be better. Alright, I just saw our localizer bug. It's hollow. I still haven't seen our guide slope yet. But I hope to see that soon. And when I see them getting close to center, I'm going to press our APP button, which is right here. And if you look at our approach chart, we've got here's our Beehive, 7,500. And here's our guide slope. Right now just flashing, but we do want to come underneath it, so that's good. You can see our runways out here. And now we can hit our approach button, localizer and guide slope. Go ahead and crank that down just to make sure. So it looks like we're just going to hold here at 7,500 until these bugs center themselves. So as you can see, okay, this one is now magenta, so it's quite active, and the aircraft is looking for that, and hopefully that'll light up shortly. So localizer is engaged. Our speed is coming down. And I'm going to go ahead and click this second autopilot. So localizer and guide slope. Our magenta bugs are about as close as we can hope, and we can start getting some flaps in here. We are still 11 miles out. See what I set the speed for. I thought it was lower than that. I'm gonna go ahead and, now this is supposed to be what I need. So we need to be about 140. Still watching these to make sure we stay on. Now I've got a horn of some kind. I have no idea what that is. Usually it would say something over here. Maybe it's looking for gear. Yeah, maybe the speed was too low for gear up. So, you learn something every time you fly this bird. Still on the guide slope. It's indicating flare. Trying to maintain that speed with everything hanging out. Go ahead and arm speed brake. Looks like it is armed. Final notch of flaps. And my PAPI lights, 2 red, 2 white. So that's good.
1,000.
So we're a little over the guide slope here, but the nose has been pushed down. Holding at 140 knots, full flaps. So let's see if we can get it on the ground in one piece. You can see our go around here. Probably should have set the go around altitude. I did not. So
100. 50, 830, 120, 10.
All right. And reverse screen. These flashing lights are AP.
It's going to take the captain just a few moments to taxi to the gate, so we ask that you remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the seatbelt sign has been turned off and the aircraft has come to a complete stop at the gate. That will be your only indication that it's safe to get up and move about the cabin. We also ask that you keep the outside of any carry-on baggage. This is the termination of our flight this morning, so we ask that you check the back pockets, closets, and overhead bins for any articles you may have brought with you. Extra care should be taken when opening the overhead bins as heavy articles may have shifted during our flight. On behalf of your entire flight crew, it's been our pleasure.
All right, let's turn off some of the lights here. And we can turn on our taxi lights and begin cleaning up the aircraft. Whoops, still had reverse on. That was not good. Well, we do know how to back up. Now I have AutoGate installed, but I have really no idea how it works. I need my friend Steve here to guide me. But let's just get it parked and shut down. A little fast here, guys. I'll turn on my APU. Now I guess if this were a live AutoGate, I would have a little guy standing there. I don't see him. I don't see any lines at all, actually. But that's something I'll have to work on. All right, brake on. There we go. And our APU is on. Let's turn on the, get the bleeds going. And we can shut it down. Still have flaps here. Should have had this thing cleaned up. As they spool down. So that concludes our approach and landing in Salt Lake coming from Casper. So thanks for joining me.